But I thought he was a disaster tonight. Geordie Journo's back at St James's Park, and a disappointing evening for Newcastle United. We thought the momentum was building, we thought Newcastle United were back. They are back to the drawing board, Jordan.
Sorry, that's a brilliant segment. I shouldn't be laughing because I'm not happy after that. Yeah, it feels like they've taken a step back, because you look at the international break, before the international break, 3 wins against 3 very good teams. Chelsea, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, and yeah, you felt like Newcastle were back. You could see there was a formula there when you were bringing Joe Linton and Anthony Gordon on the wings, and then you've got a midfield balance there. That felt really good. You've got a back line, although it changed tonight with Lloyd Kelly coming in. That it just looked like Newcastle of old. But tonight was very much the early season Newcastle. The best way I can describe it is probably the Brighton game, where huffed and puffed. There was chances in the first half, but in the second half, Newcastle, I don't know this for a fact, but I don't remember them having a shot at goal.
Definitely not a clear-cut one, and that's disappointing when you're the home team against a team who've really struggled this season. We went into this game quite confident.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking at the stats. Newcastle very rarely lose on Monday nights under the lights at St James's Park. Newcastle have lost one of their last 27 Monday Premier League home fixtures, including none of the last 9. 2-0 defeat against Chelsea on the 5th of May 2008. It's the last time they lost, Jordan.
In the bargain.
So yeah, this one, Brighton was a bit of a shock because Newcastle don't really lose at St James's Park. This one was probably even more of a shock given the sort of contrasting forms and momentum of each team going into this. And yeah, just 2 of us tonight. Liam Kennedy sends his best wishes, probably for the best. Liam's not here because I'm sure he would have a few choice words, but he was at the game up in level 7 with his son celebrating his birthday. We did have a grand plan to actually really involve Liam and his son in this video, but ultimately that defeat has ruined it. So that's on you, Eddie Howe, and your players.
Not my usual spot, but I'm here. It's a special night, just not because Newcastle United are paying, because this little lad, my son William's 11th birthday. Say hello to the Geordie Journo's crowd with him.
I'm on.
Yeah, we tried something. We tried to do something different where it was like a day in the life, if you like. Where
it was like there's lots of content. I'll try and squeeze as much of it as possible into this video, though us being confident ahead of a 2-0 defeat probably will look quite jarring. But yeah, I think Newcastle, the game was there. West Ham were there for the taking, even after they scored early on, which stifled Newcastle's momentum after they started really well. Had a goal disallowed from Alexander Isak.
Offside, I think.
Offside. Isak, ball in the net. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he was offside, but both got hit just really badly.
It's a good finish from Isak, to be fair. Dinks it over.
VAR checking, disallowed ball for offside.
Yeah, I think he's off. West Ham take the lead. Soucek with a header from the corner.
Yeah, basic, wasn't it?
Basic stuff. Been all Newcastle so far. 10 minutes in, West Ham take the lead. Even after going behind, I thought Newcastle are still in this game. I thought they had the better of the first half. They were in control, but it's just taking the chances. Anthony Gordon has a great chance straight at the keeper. Lloyd Kelly has one at the back post. I think we'll get on to Lloyd Kelly because he had a real opportunity in Dan Burn's absence. His first Premier League start at centre-back after really impressing in the Carabao Cup against Chelsea at centre-back. And look, it's hard after one game, but I thought he was a disaster tonight.
It was a disaster for him because he had a real opportunity to come in and impress. And I actually thought maybe looking after the Nottingham Forest game and looking back to when Lloyd Kelly last played centre-half along Fabian Schär, maybe I thought possibly a blessing in disguise where it's have you got your best back four there? But Lloyd Kelly did nothing to justify his place tonight, and Dan Burn literally walks back into that start 11 on Saturday. There's no debate about it. Lloyd Kelly missed his opportunity, and that's a real disappointment for him because every time he seems to get an opportunity, he doesn't quite take it. His last start was the Fulham game, think he was brought off at half time in the end.
I thought that was a harsh substitution,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't have complained if he got brought off early tonight.
He's been brought in as a left back, centre half. So then you had the opportunity at left back early on the season. Lewis Hall makes that position his own. He's then had the opportunity at left centre half tonight, and it's still Burns' position to lose. Which if I'm Lloyd Kelly now, I'll be really disappointed because he's came here and not played a lot of football. And ultimately, that's on him because, yeah, from what I see tonight, he doesn't deserve to be in the team, and that sounds really probably hard words, but it's just a reality. It's hard to pick out just him because I don't think the team particularly paint themselves in glory. But I'm looking at the one change in that team and someone who was desperate to play and didn't perform that night. So.
Yeah, I thought he was probably at fault for both goals. Let Soucek go for the first one and then stood off. I don't think Newcastle covered themselves.
It wasn't just that though. He looked a yard off now. You think that he did?
If the ball was in the air, he misjudged it a few times. Don't want to hammer him too much.
But you just judge it for what it is. I thought he would come in and play really well tonight, and I thought Eddie Howe would have a real dilemma ahead of Crystal Palace on Saturday. But there isn't a dilemma there. It's Dan Burn that comes straight back in, and it shouldn't have been that way. And
it's a shame because now it's a shame for Lloyd Kelly, I should say, because now Sven Botman's closing in on a return, and then all of a sudden he's maybe second or third choice left back, and then also maybe third choice left centre back. So missed opportunity for him, and a missed opportunity for Newcastle United to go 6th tonight. They go down to 10th following the weekend's results, and it's just that momentum. Newcastle almost tease you with these results against Arsenal, a decent win, a really impressive win against Nottingham Forest, beating Chelsea in the cup. But it's these games. You've played Brighton this season, you played West Ham this season, Everton, Bournemouth. Teams you'd be expecting to finish above, and in all those games I've just mentioned, they've taken 2 points. Fulham as well. So those are a decent chunk of teams you'd be expecting to finish above in the Premier League. West Ham are probably in and around where Newcastle would want to be, or have similar ambitions. But to take 2 points from those games, it's a balancing act for Newcastle that they're not quite getting right, and a big concern that Eddie Howe highlighted in the game, or for the season as a whole. It's 5 goals in 6 games in the Premier League at St James's Park this season, and I think is it 13 goals in 12 games overall.
There's only 3 teams that scored less: Everton, Southampton, and Crystal Palace.
For a team who scored 85 Premier League goals last season and not really had significant changes in personnel. Okay, Callum Wilson's been out the team, but he was out the team pretty much all of last season as well, particularly the second half. So to lack any real attacking conviction, I should say, that's a better word, because Eddie Howe pointed Newcastle are creating chances. I'd say they're creating half chances. There's been very few games where I've gone, that opposition keeper has absolutely kept this team in the game.
I would say Fabianski's probably only made one save, or at least one big save, and that was Anthony Gordon one, which he should have scored, Anthony Gordon. But that's the thing. It's in the first half, you can look to say that Newcastle had chances. I'd probably go along with that, but second half, they looked like a team that can't score goals and who aren't really scoring goals. Think about the 3 at Forest last week. If they hadn't have had those 3 goals, look where they'd be. I think they'd probably be bottom of the table for goals scored.
Yeah,
it's you're right. I mean, they were a team that were free scoring. The games last year were chaotic, where they were conceding a lot of goals and they were free scoring as well. And to be fair, the start of the game threatened to be that. I thought was Newcastle took the game to West Ham. I thought that the game was open. West Ham had a couple of counter attacks before opening the scoring. But I just think teams have found them out a little bit. That they're coming and sitting in, and Newcastle don't have the answers currently. No. I said after Forest, as much as we praised the performance, I did say in that first half at Forest, that Forest sat in. Newcastle struggled to break them down. After getting equaliser through a set piece, Forest were naive and coming out and trying to take the game to Newcastle. Gaps galore, which what Newcastle thrive at. When teams sit in, there's a lack of guile, and it's just to open teams up. Like they can't seem to do it.
They just go through the motions, I think, far too much. The end of the game here, the last 30 minutes, as Eddie Howe kept alluding to, he said they played well for 60 minutes. I don't quite agree with that.
45.
I thought they were decent in the first half. Jordan, what are your thoughts on the first half there?
It feels like Brighton 2.0.
And really, after the second West Ham goal, they lost all all impetus really. And yeah, I thought the last half hour was a really tough watch. Eddie Howe's making changes. Callum Wilson comes on, clutching at straws with penalty shout. Probably, I'd say maybe was a penalty. It's a
Yeah, it was
50-50 one, but just not creating any chances. Like you say, no convincing shots on target in the second half. It's not good enough in a lot of ways, and it's just this sort of rotation we've been going through in 2024 in general, where Newcastle have been getting our hopes up. We're going, yeah, they're showing really positive signs, and let's not ignore those positive signs based on one result, but the negative signs that have reared their head once again today are not new. They've been something for all of this season or all of 2024. And
they can get up for the big games, there's no doubt about it. We said that after they got beat off Chelsea, when they said they'll probably go and put in 2 really good performances this week after the Chelsea Premier League game. They then go and beat 2 big teams at home, Chelsea and Arsenal. But it's the teams in and around them, or the teams below them, that they're really struggling to break down. But Eddie Howe's got to find a way to do that. Otherwise, what we're seeing now, the up and down will continue to happen. There'll not be a consistent run of results if you can't find ways to break teams down when they don't open up against you. Because that's Newcastle at the best. When teams open up, Newcastle are free-flowing, counter-attacking. That's Newcastle at the best. But they've got a level now where teams know that's Newcastle's A game. So then they drop in, and then it's about finding a way of being able to break these teams down. Have they got the players to do that? I'd probably argue they do. When you've got players like Bruno being able to unlock doors, Anthony Gordon as well, which, to be fair, coming on to him, I think is his form a concern. I don't want to go overboard here, but we found a formula where it was playing him on the left or the right, whatever, and then playing Joe Linton on the other side. But Anthony Gordon has never really looked his best in that system. I would say his Arsenal performance was good because it was really hard working, and obviously he's put the cross in for the goal. But that was probably in that game, I'm thinking, was only the maybe time we've really seen him show his quality and like create something. Yeah. I just feel like he isn't performing well in the team currently. I think as much as the one at Nottingham Forest, he was probably one of the worst performers. Yeah. And today he was nowhere near it again. So if you look at Anthony Gordon's form in the season as a whole, I think there's been the odd good performance there, but consistently, given the levels he was at last year, Newcastle's player of the season, he's nowhere near that at the moment. Yeah, you think about the standard he set.
Yeah, he's probably Newcastle's best player last season, as you say, player of the season. And I think even when he's played well this season, look, he's had some really good games, Man City being one, absolutely. Arsenal being one. It's been a different sort of performance. It hasn't been the last season Anthony Gordon, the player with full of confidence, full of flair. It's been energetic, hard-working performances, which have been really good, and that's another part of his game. But in terms of that actual attacking quality, real drive and ability to score goals, really, I think he's like that this season, and has struggled to get anywhere near the heights which he hit last season, and was consistent at it. He was getting goals, he was creating goals, he was winning penalties. I think probably 11, 12 goals and 15 assists last season, which is incredible numbers. And saw him getting in the England squad, and now he scored twice, 1 penalty and a great assist for Alexander Isak. Let's not take anything away from that against Arsenal, but I think it's been a different Anthony Gordon this season, and that is a concern.
Yeah, absolutely. You put it. I was trying to think of a way to sum it up, but you've done it for us. That's exactly it. I think there's been good games there from Gordon, but it's not him from last season. So is his form a concern? As I say, I don't want to go overboard, but I would probably argue it is, because it's disappointing, because I think the last few games you found I mentioned at the start, you found a formula that you think worked, and you almost just accepted Anthony Gordon was sacrificed because of that. But when you've got the performances like today, when you need players like Gordon to step up and start unlocking doors, he's not doing it. So that's when it becomes a concern. So the team really suffered tonight. As I say, I wax lyrical about the team that Eddie Howe put out in the last 3 games before tonight. When you've got that midfield balance, you've got the wide players, Joe Linton back on the left. But do you go back to the drawing board, and do you have to think of something else? You certainly have to think about something else when you come up against teams like West Ham at home, because that is probably proven an Achilles heel at the moment, because they can't seem to beat teams that really sit in against them.
Yeah, there was changes Eddie Howe made in the second half. A couple of them forced. Bruno injury concern, and then we saw Lewis Hall move into midfield, Kieran Trippier come on, Callum Wilson came on, Jacob Murphy, Sandro Tonali, and Harvey Barnes came on for Joe Willock at half-time. Another injury concern, and I don't think any player really covered themselves in glory, where the changes have really helped Newcastle this season at times. Harvey Barnes, super sub, which is probably a title he doesn't like, but you have Sandro Tonali coming on, making impacts in games. I thought both those players were excellent against Forest. They've just come on and unable to find any sort of spark in the game.
Yeah, the second half was so flat. It was so flat. I think even sitting at half time, I was at Newcastle on out this game, and I think you were in agreement where I actually thought they would come out in the second half and probably go on to win it. I just had that feel at half time. But as we witnessed, they didn't even get close to scoring. Mata and Wan-Bissaka goal probably totally killed the game, and Newcastle, as I mentioned, loads of changes, just had zero response.
Callum Wilson's on for Newcastle, Sandro Tonali's on, Harvey Barnes obviously as well, Jacob Murphy, so plenty of changes, but it's not having the desired effect so far. Time running out, looks like West Ham are going to secure the 3 points here.
It's a frustrating one because, as I say, that you felt they'd made so much progress before tonight, and yeah, they've let themselves down tonight, because it was a real opportunity to go up to 6th in the Premier League. I think you're then a point behind Arsenal and Chelsea if you win. And now I know it's a tight season, but they're in 10th.
Yeah,
you don't want to be there. You want to be higher up, obviously.
Yeah, it would have been 6th with a favourable run going into Christmas, but then when going back to our point we made before, where these teams below Newcastle in the table, or where you'd expect them to be below Newcastle in the table, they're struggling to break down, and you're looking at games coming up, the likes of Brentford, Leicester, Ipswich, Crystal Palace at the weekend. Those games where you go, right, Newcastle should really be building up some momentum before the new year, now are looking like tougher games because of how Newcastle have struggled this season and how you'd expect those teams to set up.
If I'm those teams and I'm watching Newcastle on the basis of the season, you just sit in.
Yeah, that's the blueprint.
But you won't get that against Liverpool, because Liverpool have got the quality to open up if you go in a basketball game with them as well. But the Liverpool game will be so open.
That's almost the game where you're probably the most positive about or optimistic about in some ways, even though Eddie Howe has never beaten Liverpool. I never got a point against Liverpool as Newcastle United manager, and Liverpool are flying. But yeah, it's been a tough one tonight. I think we've seen the positive signs in recent weeks. I think Eddie Howe, he didn't use it as an excuse, but he was put this to him. Like the Brighton game, he's had players coming back, the likes of Bruno, Gordon, Isak, Tonali, who've been away on international duty, played a lot of games, travelled a lot, and they've come back and had probably 4 days training to get ready for this game. Is that enough? I'd probably argue it is, because they're playing on a Monday, but it obviously has led to a disjointed performance tonight.
The international breaks haven't helped, there's no doubt about it. When you beat Forest, you won a game 3 days later because the momentum's with you. So yeah, taking the international break into account, it spoke about it several times. I think the amount of international breaks at the start of the season have been a joke. And was it the one that was at the October international break where they came out and played Brighton and got PTR as well? So I think that's a factor totally, but you've got to have something about it to get over it, if you like. And you're at home, you're under the lights, Monday night, West Ham's one of them teams that Liam said earlier on the season that you look at the on the fixture list and you go, actually you can get at them, you can beat them, because Newcastle got a really good record against West Ham, but didn't happen tonight, and yeah, I'm frustrated about that.
Yeah, I think we're all frustrated. I'm sure Liam's tucked up in bed, frustrated.
You'd be tossing and turning all night.
We're frustrated, weren't we? Your frustration here in the stands.
Pulling his hair out.
Yeah, he will.
So yeah, if you like this video, if you like what we do with the Geordie Journos Football Content Awards nominated channel, 4th place.
Yep, 4th place.
Back in London last week. And yeah, if you like what we do, please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. All of our videos are sponsored by Four Rivers Financial Planning, and if you're interested in sponsoring our videos, please let us know. Our contact details will be in the description. And we've got a live coming up later. It will be tonight by the time this video comes up. So Tuesday night, we've got the return of Keith Patterson with Liam Kennedy. live stream talking about all the fallout of Premier League, APT, and the rule changes, proposed rule changes, all that. And the last live stream with Keith was brilliant. So I'm looking forward to that. Stay tuned and tune in for that later this Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock. Geordie Journals will be back as a duo. Eddie Howe's press conference on Friday. Then we'll be rejoined by Liam Kennedy, hopefully, at Crystal Palace on Saturday. So we'll see you there.